did you know my uncle?
We served together.
He never told me your name. What's happening?
Get in the bathroom. Stay.
Find this fucker. I found the girl.
I need you to wait here. I'm coming right back.
The story kicks off with Michael Mason, a former heavy-hitter government assassin who decided he's had enough and pulls a disappearing act. He's holed up on some godforsaken, rocky island way out off the coast of Scotland, completely cut off from the rat race he used to run in. See, Mason used to be the top dog for this crew called the Black Kites, a bunch of elite spooks who did the government's dirty work entirely off the books. Years back, Mason decides he's done playing their games and goes rogue, and he's been looking over his shoulder ever since. He's a real lonely guy, spending his days playing chess against himself and hitting the bottle pretty hard just to keep the ghosts away. His only pal is this dog he's got hanging around, but he's so detached he hasn't even given the poor mutt a name. Even though he wants the world to leave him the hell alone, Mason's got one tiny link to the rest of the world for his basic gear. Every single week, this kid named Jessie shows up on a boat to drop off his groceries and whatever else he ordered. Jessie's a local girl who's going through a rough patch after losing her mother, so now it's just her and her uncle against the world. During these weekly drop-offs, Jessie gets more and more fed up with how Mason acts like a total hermit and doesn't give her the time of day. On this particular afternoon, the boat pulls up to the island so Jessie can deliver the goods. She walks up to Mason's front door, give it a knock, and just leaves the package right there on the stoop like she always does. Just as she's turning around to head back, the weather takes a nasty turn real fast and the sky goes pitch black. Out of nowhere, a brutal storm starts tearing up the water, catching Jessie and her uncle completely off guard. The boat's captain, Jessie's uncle, starts screaming for her to get back on the rig so they can get the heck out of Dodge before things get worse. Jessie hauls it back to the boat and manages to scramble on board just as the sea starts getting real angry. But the ocean ain't playing, and a monster wave slams into the boat with everything it's got. The whole vessel flips over, tossing Jessie and her uncle into the freezing, choppy water. From inside his shack, Mason sees the storm is turning into a real nightmare and decides he can't just sit there. He gets his own small boat into the water and starts a suicide mission through the heavy wind and the massive swells. He's fighting the ocean every inch of the way until he finally tracks down the wreckage to see if anyone's still kicking. When he gets there, it's bad news. Jessie's uncle didn't make it. He spots Jessie floating there, out cold and pinned under the surface. Mason dives right in, yanks her out of the drink, and tosses her onto his boat before pinning the throttle back to the shore. Once they're back at the cabin, Mason sees she's not breathing and starts pumping her chest like crazy. He's working her over until she finally coughs up a lungful of seawater and starts taking air again. When Jessie finally comes to inside the shack, she's spooked out of her mind and doesn't know where the heck she is.
Where's my uncle?
He's dead. The trawler went down.
Right away, she wants to know why Mason didn't call the cops or an ambulance to come get her. Mason just gives her the cold shoulder and keeps his eyes on her condition. He sees her ankle is busted up bad and starts checking out how much it's swelling up. Jessie feels like she's being held hostage in this middle of nowhere house and remembers her uncle telling her that lighthouse was a dump and a dangerous place to be. Mason tells her straight up that as soon as she's back on her feet, she's hitting the road. While they're talking, It turns out he knows all about her sad story and the fact that she's got nobody left in her corner. Over the next few days, the vibe in the house is thick with tension while they're stuck together. Mason notices the gash on her leg is looking nasty and starting to get infected. He finally lets a little bit of his story slip, telling her he used to be a Marine and actually served with her uncle back in the day. While he's patching her up, Mason drops some heavy truth on her about how to stay alive. He tells her to never pull a trigger just cause she's scared, and that if she wants to survive, she's gotta keep a cool head and keep her emotions in check. The next day, Jesse sees Mason is deep in thought, staring down his chessboard like it's the only thing that matters. Seeing that the infection in her leg is going south, Mason realizes he's gotta leave the island to get some real medicine. While he's over on the mainland, Jessie starts poking around the house cause she's bored and curious. She finds some old sketches and toys that make it look like Mason might have actually had a real life once upon a time. While she's exploring, she hangs out with the dog and decides the poor guy needs a name. She starts calling him Jack, and they start becoming little buddies. But Mason's trip to the mainland ends up blowing his cover and putting a big target on both their backs. When he's trying to get Jessie some help, Mason gets picked up by this high-tech government spy program called Thea, or Tish. This AI setup uses every camera on the planet to track whoever the government wants to find. Even though some of the suits want to pull the plug on it, the thing is still running behind the scenes. The geeks running the data find Michael Mason's exact coordinates on that Scottish island in no time. The system has him flagged for some government bombing from way back, so they label him a terrorist. Because of that, MI6 sends a hit squad with orders to check out the place and take him off the map.
Like, I said we were supposed to go in the first place, but I thought we were going to stay. That's a bit more fun, though.
We have a retinal match.
Location?
Outer Hebrides, Scotland.
Who's our nearest assault team? Send them.
Mason eventually makes it back to the island with the meds and fixes up Jessie's leg. They're sitting there having a bite to eat and it's almost a normal vibe. But then Mason's internal alarm goes off. He gets a bad feeling and grabs his binoculars to see what's coming across the water. He sees a boat loaded with guys in tactical gear hauling tail toward the island. Mason doesn't waste a second. He tells Jessie to get in the bathroom, lock the door, and don't make a peep until he says so. The hired guns think they're walking into an easy job, but they have no clue that Mason has turned the whole island into a giant death trap. As the mercenary team moves toward the house, they remain unaware that Mason is observing their every move. With a swift, calculated motion, he slices a rope, which triggers a massive rock to drop from above. This trap is effective, snaring several of the armed men in a heavy net and instantly reducing the size of the attacking force. Heavy gunfire erupts as the remaining mercenaries attempt to surround the small cabin. Mason begins to move through the terrain like a ghost, utilizing his elite training to take out the attackers one by one from the shadows. Despite his efforts, one soldier manages to breach the cabin's defenses and gets inside where Jessie is hiding. Inside the house, Mason's dog attacks the intruder in an attempt to protect the home, but the soldier fires his weapon, shooting the animal multiple times. After killing the dog, the man finds Jessie, grabs her, and attempts to flee the premises with her as a captive. Outside, Mason eliminates another enemy before hearing Jessie scream for help. Mason quickly locates the captor and shoots him, successfully rescuing Jessie from the soldier's grasp. He tells her to find a place to hide while he performs a final sweep of the house to ensure no other threats remain. Inside the cabin, he discovers the body of his dog, and he silently strokes the animal one last time with visible grief on his face.
Sorry, old boy.
The death of his only companion changes Mason's mindset, and he decides it is time to stop hiding and seek revenge. He gathers Jessie and the two of them escape the island by boat before more reinforcements can arrive. Meanwhile, back at MI6 headquarters, the command staff is stunned to learn that their entire Alpha team has been wiped out.
Activate him. Find out who that girl is.
The agency begins to question the true identity of the man on the island, noting that he does not match the terrorist profile they were initially investigating. Upon digging deeper into their systems, they discover that the CIA database had been intentionally altered to conceal his history. They realize that Michael Mason is not a terrorist, but a former elite operative believed to have died 10 years earlier.
Shit. Workman.
Fuck you, man.
It is revealed that Mason's supposed death occurred after he refused a high-stakes mission to assassinate a nuclear scientist. While the agency processes this discovery, Mason and Jesse reach a small town on the mainland. Both are physically wounded from the encounter and remain on high alert as they navigate the unfamiliar environment. Mason hands Jesse a gun and gives her a firm, serious order regarding their safety. He tells her that if anyone approaches them, she must shoot without any hesitation. Mason then enters a nearby house in search of medical supplies to treat their mounting injury. While inside the house, a man suddenly appears and points a firearm at Mason, catching him off guard. However, the homeowner does not realize that Jesse has followed Mason and is standing directly behind him. She remains calm and steady, aiming her weapon at the man's head to protect Mason. The situation escalates slightly, and the man eventually agrees to help Mason treat a gunshot wound he sustained during the island fight. This truce is short-lived, as the homeowner's son has already alerted the local authorities to their presence. Soon, the police arrive and completely surround the house, demanding their surrender.
Local authorities responding to a home invasion at the farm.
We'll tell them not to engage.
Do not engage. I repeat, we have personnel en route.
Are they going to arrest you?
The homeowner steps outside in an attempt to distract the officers and explain the situation, but the scene quickly turns into chaos. The man is shot directly in the forehead by an officer and killed instantly in front of the house.
Find out where those shots came from.
Sorry. You need to stay here. Come on.
Several officers then break into the home, but Mason uses his combat skills to take them down with ease. Mason and Jesse manage to escape through the back of the property and steal a patrol car to flee the scene. This ignites a high-speed chase as they are pursued by law enforcement and a professional assassin named James. James pursues them relentlessly, firing his weapon in an attempt to kill them while they are on the road. Mason executes a flawless driving maneuver and rams the car being driven by James, causing a major collision. Although James survives the crash, he quickly steals another vehicle to continue the pursuit. At the same time, the truth about Mason's past continues to surface at MI6. An official named Roberto Frost speaks with a veteran agent named Stephen Manafort, who finally reveals the existence of the Black Kites. Manafort explains that this secret program consisted of elite operatives who worked entirely outside the law, and Michael Mason was the best among them. It is also confirmed that Mason and Jesse's uncle had served together as Marines years prior. Manafort explains that the agency wants Mason dead because he is a loose end who knows too many secrets.
Yes, sir. Ready to put your tradecraft to the test?
Am I gonna get fired for this?
Not unless I do.
Mason had originally vanished after his conscience stopped him from killing the nuclear scientist he was assigned to eliminate. As they continue their escape, Jesse finally asks Mason about his true identity. In a rare moment of honesty, Mason admits that he wasn't always a broken man hiding on a remote island, but explains that his past makes their current situation very complicated. Jesse responds by telling him she would rather live with those complications than be completely alone again.
I'd rather it be complicated then, and have my mum back. Now I have no one.
She reminds him that she has lost her entire family and has nowhere else to go. As they drive, their vehicle is captured by a traffic camera, alerting those tracking them. Elsewhere, Stephen Manafort intercepts this footage and deletes it from the Tish surveillance system entirely. He manipulates the network to hide their trail from other agencies, choosing instead to hunt Mason and Jesse on his own terms. Michael and Jesse eventually pull up to a church to link up with one of Michael's old school contacts. The guy takes them back to his crib, where they get into the nitty-gritty of how MI6 managed to track Michael down. He lays it out for them, explaining that someone on the inside cooked the books on the surveillance system to put a hit out on the contact, using the fake name of some terrorist named Shumov. While the adults are talking shop, Jesse overhears the whole thing and finds out two things that really sting. She learns that Michael's pal is checking out early because of cancer and that Michael was planning to ditch her there just to keep her out of the line of fire. She's heartbroken and gets right in their faces, telling them she already knows she's a drag on them before she storms off.
Is she right?
But you know I can't be responsible for her. My hands are tied.
What if I go to Kamal?
No. No way. Not an option.
Hey, look, let me worry about that. Just help me get to him. Can you do that?
I can tell you when to turn left or right. That's about it.
Good enough.
Michael's buddy admits he's in no shape to look after the kid because his clock is ticking and he's almost out of time. They figure the only move left is to get in touch with a smuggler who can get Jesse out of the country for good. All of a sudden, The quiet vibe gets blown apart when Michael hears footsteps coming for them. The hitman, James, successfully tracks them to the spot and shows up ready to finish the job. Michael screams at Jesse to get in a corner just as the lead starts flying and tears the room to pieces. A nasty firefight breaks out in the house as Michael tries to hold off the attacker. At a point where it looks like it's lights out for Michael, Jessie steps up with her heater and creates a distraction. This gives Michael just enough breathing room to break loose and get back in the fight. They both haul tail to the friend's car and peel out at full speed while bullets are punching holes through the metal. They head straight into London to hit up a nightclub where Michael has a sit-down with a guy who can get Jessie a new identity. Michael lays out a deal. He wants a fresh passport and a one-way ticket for Jessie to Spain. In exchange, he promises to take out Stephen Manafort, effectively cutting the head off the snake and burying all their dirty laundry.
Ross! We're doubling down. Get your team ready.
Any sign of Mason?
We have nothing. You're right. I found an unknown login to Thea from outside MI6. There is something I can try.
Whatever it is, do it quickly.
Well played, Roberta.
My trap worked. I got him. Oh shit.
Stephen Manafort. Right, where's my tactical team? I want Mason and the girl taken in alive.
Where the fuck are you?
Seconds out, sir.
The contact goes for the deal and hands over a package with a new passport, some ID, and 20 grand in cash. But as they're trying to walk out of the club, Stephen's heavy hitters launch an ambush and start swinging. Michael goes to work, dropping the tactical team one by one to make a hole for them to escape. In the middle of all that mess, some operatives grab Jessie and throw her into a van. Michael goes absolutely ballistic, tearing through anyone in his path until he catches the van and gets her back.
It's okay. I got you, Jesse. Time to go.
They hop on a bike and start weaving through traffic, heading straight for the London docks. When they get to the boat that's supposed to take Jessie across the pond, she's a mess and starts clinging to Michael. She's crying, telling him she doesn't want to go and wants to stay right there with him. Suddenly, the sound of gunfire starts popping off again as the bad guys catch up to the dock. To make sure she makes it out alive, Michael has to shove Jessie toward the boat, telling her this is the only way he can keep her in one piece. The boat starts pulling away from the pier while Jessie is screaming his name, leaving Michael all by himself to deal with James. Both guys eventually run out of juice for their guns, and the whole thing turns into a dirty, hand-to-hand brawl. The brawl between Michael and James at the docks turns into a real high-stakes, hand-to-hand scrap. Both of these guys are running on fumes and pure desperation, trading haymakers in the middle of the industrial yard. After a long, nasty struggle where both of them take a beating, Michael finally gets the upper hand and puts James down for good. With the hitman out of the picture, Michael heads straight for the guy pulling all the strings. He shows up at the front door of Stephen Manafort, the big-shot veteran agent who played him dirty and used the spy tech to hunt him down. Once he's inside the house, the two of them finally have a face-to-face showdown. During this little chat, Stephen tries to sweet-talk Michael into coming back to the fold. He claims they're cut from the same cloth and tells Michael he should just take back his old life as a top-tier killer. Stephen tries to make it sound like Michael belongs in that world of high-stakes hits. Michael isn't buying what he's selling and tells him straight up that he's choosing his own humanity over being a government lapdog. Without blinking an eye, Michael draws his piece and shoots Stephen, making sure justice is served for everyone who got caught in the crossfire. That move pretty much wipes the black kites off his back for the time being. The story jumps ahead 3 months to Ronda, Spain. Jessie is sitting there solo, reading a book and looking like she's finally got some peace and quiet. Back in London, the MI6 techies are still watching their screens, admitting that Michael did a hell of a job keeping her off the grid.
Wait.
It's him.
While she's hanging out, Jessie gets an envelope with a little something inside. It's a chess queen, the exact same piece from Michael's old board back at the shack. She immediately starts looking around the crowd, hoping to spot him hanging out in the shadows somewhere. Michael is actually there, keeping an eye on her just long enough to know she's doing okay. Before she can get a lock on him, he pulls another vanishing act and blends back into the world. He's back to being a ghost, but Jessie knows he's still out there looking out for her.